What's going on, YouTube? What's the deal? It's your boy Shots by 2X, and today I'm gonna bring y'all a how to drive video on the BMW M4. For a lot of people who are coming from normal cars, this car is kind of a little bit complicated to drive, so I felt like I wanted to bring y'all along, teach y'all how to drive the car, so when y'all get yours or do your test drive or drive your friend's car or whatever, you know what to do. So yeah, let's get into it. I got the sun beaming in my face right now, so you can see I'm squinting and whatnot, but yeah, I'm gonna give y'all a walk around of the car, show y'all everything y'all need to know, talk about some of the mods on it, and then show y'all how to drive it. Let's get into it. So in front of me we have my 2016 BMW M4. This car is finished in a Yasmarina blue paint color with a carbon structure interior, which is basically the cloth insides. So this car is a little bit complicated to drive, guys. I remember the first time I drove one of these, the transmission and a couple of things kind of threw me off, so it took some adjusting for me to get accustomed to it. So I felt like it would be a good way to share my knowledge by making one of these videos. And this car is not stock. It's full bolt-on, basically stage 2 car. I can show you guys under the hood in a little bit. And I have the updated headlights along with the updated taillights. I feel like this car, the taillights on it originally looked pretty whack. So if you are looking into getting a BMW M4, this is a really good mod to do. But this car, I feel like in stock form, is a really beautiful car. And these cars take modifications really, really well. This car right here, if you look at it, you would not think this car was 8 years old almost. This is a 2016 right here. So it's crazy. Like, it looks really good. It still gets a lot of compliments. A lot of people love my car. And when you do the car right, put the right modifications on it, is really a special vehicle, especially for the price that you're paying for it. It's really I feel like it's one of the best bargains you can get in that price range, and definitely one of the quickest cars you can get in that price range that are pretty reliable as well. But let's talk about some of the exterior mods I have. So we mentioned the headlights. These are the OEM facelift headlights. These are the European ones, so they come with no side marker. And then we have a carbon lip. This lip, it's definitely seen better days. Car is so low though, like it's gonna scrape everywhere. But moving on from the front, we also have, I feel like this isn't even a mod at this point, everyone does it, but we have the black kidney grille. That's also a mod I've done to the front end, and that's pretty much it for the most part. We got that rock chip there, so I'm thinking we should do the GTS hood and kind of use that as an excuse to upgrade. All it really is the same style hood with that scoop right there, that hump, with like a little center scoop that goes into the engine and keeps it cool. So it gives it a little bit of a more aggressive style. I think it would be a really nice touch. Now we have the car lowered on H&R springs with the HRE FF01s on the car, finished in a liquid silver. These are 20-inch wheels. I really like the style of these wheels a lot. I feel like it complements the car well. And at first I was thinking of doing these in black, but honestly I'm really happy with how they look in silver as well. So I think that's something that I might do in the future if I ever get bored of the silver, but I'm pretty content with how it looks right now. Now we have this beautiful PSM style, the side skirt. The quality on is amazing. You can see the fitment is on point, especially if you ever bought carbon fiber before. You know it's really hit or miss when you buy it when it comes to fitment, but the fitment is great, the finish is great on it, and it really just sets off the side profile of the car. I feel like it gives it that low effect and just makes it look a lot more aggressive. So that is a PSM side skirt. For me, I was thinking it might be a little bit too much because I've seen one in person I don't know where the guy bought it from, but his stuck out way too much in my opinion. And for the rear, one of my favorite parts of the car, as you can see, it's got that stance, it's got that presence. Let's talk about what we got done to it. We have a lip spoiler. I was worried this was going to be a little bit too aggressive, but turned out really nice with this PSM rear diffuser. I felt like the rear was a little bit skinny before this diffuser, but ties it in great. And then we have a carbon fiber exhaust tip to bring it all together nicely with that diffuser, and those taillights I mentioned earlier, which are the GTS sequential taillights. I'll actually go ahead and cut the car off so you guys can see what it does. These taillights are pretty cool though. Go ahead and cut them off for you. They have a sequence in the turn signals, so these will come at the top right there, like right there. They have that little sequence with them, so if I use the turn signals, it'll do that little sequence. And every time I start the car up, it does this little dance right here, which I think is pretty cool. I feel like it just kind of looks special when it does it. So, and I also have this black side vent. I don't remember what the exact term for it is, but it's gloss black. It matches the front kidneys. And yeah, really a very special car. I feel like this is kind of my first really nice car. Let me go ahead and pop the hood for you guys, tell you a little bit about the engine. So underneath, it's a little bit dirty, so forgive me for that. We have the S55. This is a 3.0 liter inline six twin turbo engine. I believe stock these have around 440 horsepower, I want to say. I don't remember the exact number, but one thing about this engine, it is very, very tunable. With if you like BMWs, you know it's really easy to get power out of these cars. So only mods I have on this car are charge pipes, and the reason why you do these charge pipes is because the OEM ones crack, so this is more of a preventative mod. A heat exchanger just keeps it nice and cool, and the real source of the power, which is the downpipes, that alone has me looking up at about, I would say 530 550 wheel horsepower. I haven't gotten the car dynoed, but that is very impressive, because realistically, like, you don't even have to do the heat exchanger and the charge pipe, and you'd be looking at those type of power levels. The car is tuned on BootMod 3 software, so if you're familiar with BootMod 3, it's like a tuning platform for BMWs, and this isn't even a custom tune. This is one of their base tunes that they give you. This is the Stage 2 93 tune. If I went ahead and upped it to E85 in the future, that I would probably be looking at another 70 to 80 wheel horsepower in gains, which is impressive. Like, these cars are very tunable. I haven't really had much reliability issues with the car. Only issue I had was a bolt, I believe, flew into my radiator and busted it, but that was just bad luck. Other than that, the car has been flawless, thankfully. And yeah, and I had a problem with the headlight wire as well, but that was also kind of on my end, because when you do the facelift headlights, you're kind of stretching that wire a little bit, and basically the wire was getting stretched, and there was a lot of pressure on the wire, so it would throw codes and stuff. But I pretty much have it taken care of now. I feel like that's something not a lot of people mention when you're doing the facelift headlights, is that the headlight wire gets stretched because the position and where you plug it in with these headlights is kind of lower than the pre-LCI ones, like the pre-facelift ones. But yeah, this is a really good power plant, guys. Very torquey as well. I have more torque than horsepower, and I'm pretty much certain on that. The transmission, I will go ahead and show you guys on the inside. If it's your first time driving one of these cars, it's something you got to get used to for sure. So right? This is the transmission right here. Great transmission, a whole lot of fun, has a lot of character, right? But you see we got drive, you see we got neutral, and you see we got reverse. Where's park at? With these cars right here, they're kind of weird. So the car is basically like a combination of a manual and an automatic. It has 2 clutches, and they're controlled by this transmission right here. So you don't actually have a park button. The way you put the car in park is you will leave it in drive, right? You finish driving it, you put it in drive, and you pull your handbrake up. And that is how you park the car. A lot of people put the car in neutral and then lift the handbrake. You're not really supposed to do that. You're supposed to put it in drive and lift the handbrake. I don't think it'll cause any issues if you put it in neutral and lift the handbrake, but you're supposed to leave it in drive and pull the handbrake up. So that is the biggest thing for me that I had to kind of get used to with this car. So starting off with the start process, kind of like almost any other push start, foot on the brake, start button's right there. And now that we have the car started, let me go ahead and get out of the map. This car right here, I actually have it coded to have the newer iDrive from the facelift cars. It's pretty easy to do. I had RW Coding do it for me. I found them on Facebook. They did a really good job, and they charged me a pretty good price as well. But I'll show you guys a couple of the nice features with the M4 that I felt like were pretty interesting. And we're gonna go ahead and start off with the M settings. So basically this car has a lot of different drive modes you can do. So for each one of these, you have 3 settings, right? You have, even for the traction control, you have 3 settings. This right here is the engine responsiveness. What mode is your engine in? So comfort mode or efficient mode is the calm, city driving, not doing anything crazy kind of mode. Sport opens the valves up so the car gets a little bit louder and the throttle becomes a little bit more responsive, and I'm pretty sure you get the full amount of power out of it. It feels the same as Sport Plus for me, but Sport Plus gives you a really sensitive throttle, so I'll barely be on the gas and the car will be just ready to go, right? This is like kill mode. Sport Plus is like the mode you put your car in when you want to act up, when you want to zoom down the road and go crazy. So that is Sport Plus. Suspension, basically there's Comfort Sport and Sport Plus. It's just how stiff your suspension is. Sport Plus is relatively stiff, but it's better on handling. So if you're trying to take a corner, Sport Plus is the way to go. Sport is kind of in between. And for the steering button right here, this is just how heavy your steering is. So you can see it takes a bit of effort. It's not anything insane, but compared to this, like, this just makes it heavier basically. What a lot of people don't know with these M1 and M2 buttons, these are basically configurations for those modes. So they are not preset. You are the one that sets them. They'll have a standard setting for them, but you actually go into the settings, whether you have a facelift or pre-facelift, you go into the settings, you click My Vehicles, M Drive 1 and 2, and basically you can configure it to whatever you want. So M Drive 1 for me is if I want to speed up, merge with traffic, for example, or drive quick but still have full traction control. That's what M1 is. I used to have it as a comfort mode, but I switched from it. And then M2 for me is full traction off. This is like my drift mode almost. Sport engine. So the reason I have it in Sport and not Sport Plus is because I want the throttle to be more linear. And Sport Plus setting, and for chassis and steering. And the transmission is also on S3, which is the manual shifting setting at its most aggressive setting. So basically to switch from the transmission settings, you click this button right here, nor this. I think I spilled juice on this area, so I haven't gotten around to cleaning it up. But you switch your transmission settings here from comfort, sport to sport plus. It's like 3 bars, so let me show you guys. All right, we got 1, 2, 3. This is the most aggressive, and this is the most like comfortable, laid back setting. So for your traction control, you also have 3 settings. You have traction fully on, right? No lights on the dash or anything. Then you have MDM mode, which is basically traction control, like semi turned off but not fully turned off, so the car will step out a little bit but it won't get too crazy, so you can still kind of it's still kind of pretty easy to manage. I feel like with traction on, it's kind of hard to get in an accident, for example, but with this, if you don't know what you're doing, you could get in an accident. And then to have traction fully off, if you want to slide your car, this isn't going to let you slide it. It's still going to cut power and everything. If you want traction fully off, you hold this for about 4 seconds, right? So it says DSC and active, and the MDM mode goes away, and the only thing you have left now is traction control off. When I originally saw the steering wheel, I assumed that the car, whenever the car cuts on, the steering wheel will cut on, but that is actually not the case. You have to turn it on every time you drive the car, and the way to do so, you would hold this and you would hold this together for about 2-3 seconds, and then it'll cut on. I don't think my hands are long enough, or my arm is long enough for that. So 1 second, we'll be right back. Boom, so now it's on. The way you control the steering wheel is from these 2 buttons right here, and you have a menu right here. It's flickering right now on video, but it won't flicker on your car if you have the steering wheel. And if you click this button right here, it lets you go right. This button lets you go left. You hold down on this button to go inside setting, and you can also navigate with the buttons to all the available options and whatnot for the steering wheel. All right, so this is how you put the car in drive. Foot on the brake, put the handbrake down and kick it over into drive, put it in park. Like I said earlier, handbrake up, and you cut the car off. Once you kind of get used to it, you get used to it. Make sure you put the handbrake up though, because the car will roll back if you are on a hill. It's pretty much normal, same exact way as you drive any other car. You know, steering right now is heavy because I'm in Sport Plus, and you can probably hear the car more. But if I go ahead and put it in Eco, the car gets quiet and it drives, and it drives completely normal. So with the turn signals, I just turn them on. But with BMWs, they'll go away on their own actually. So it was something I also had to get used to. If you half push it up, it'll be timed and go away by itself. If you fully push it up, it'll basically sense when the steering wheel is like turning and when it's not turned, and it'll stop on its own basically. And if you want to get it to stop, you half press it. All right. So usually I'll have the steering turned a little bit, right? Full throttle. Oh my God. Is he coming? Oh. He just hopped over my car. Oh my God. Hey. So back to the video, right? Really easy to slide the car. That was a very controlled drift, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons you get the car. All you really got to do with this car, since it has the power, you got to punch that throttle, get the wheels spinning, have it turned properly, counter steer appropriately, and you can kind of just throttle your way like back straight, so you don't, it's not snappy, it's really predictable, well balanced car. That was definitely a close call. Yeah, I blew past that cop. Oh wow. He was going the opposite way, so I guess he had somewhere to be. Overall, the car, if I had to find something to complain about, I'd say the throttle in Sport Plus is a bit too sensitive, but I can't really even complain about that because I can actually tune it. I can adjust it to be less sensitive on the tuning software I use. This GoPro is not sticking, but hopefully it's cool. But yeah, the tuning software I use, you can adjust it, so I can't really even complain about that. And then another thing I can complain about is the gas tank. The gas tank is way too small in this car. I'd say it's about 13 gallons or so. And I probably got to fill it twice a week. So I kind of wish they would have made it a bigger tank. Like, the car, if you're driving normal, it gets good gas, but I almost always put it in sport. So I'm probably looking at, on sport, maybe like 13 miles per gallon. But if I'm in comfort mode driving normally, I have gotten up to 32 miles per gallon before. That was on the stock tune. On my stage 2 tune, I've gotten up to 28 on the highway. So it's not a bad car if you're driving normal on gas, which is pretty impressive. I know they have some technology with this engine that makes it a bit more efficient, so that's definitely the case. It's definitely not as bad as some of my other friends' cars, and so yeah. This a little bit more about the engine. Basically, with BMW M cars, what they do is they'll take the normal motor, the normal engine, in the non-M cars. For example, this was off of the 335i engine, which is called the N55, excuse me. And when you see the S in the front of the name, basically BMW takes that engine, tunes it up, changes a couple of components, and puts it in their M car. So the S55 is based on the M55, and they change a lot of things on there, turbo setup and a couple of other things. That was like a first gear pull, I would have got zero traction. So yeah, I mean, the car steps out a little bit, but like I said, it's very manageable to drive. Honestly, that's what I like about it so much. I've been in a couple cars before where I felt like it wasn't really the safest car, but like in this car specifically, I never really felt in danger. Honestly, I feel like this car can make anybody look good. So when I see people crash in these cars, it kind of surprises me. Hopefully I'll never have no incident like that, but it surprises me because I'm like, wow, this is like a very easy car to drive in my eyes. As long as you're a decent driver, like, you'll be fine in one of these. It's not gonna kill you, you know? So yeah, they're definitely fantastic. I'm gonna just have it rev out a little bit so you can see the steering wheel. I have it set up to where it like actually flashes on red line. You can have it set up to flash at like 3,000 RPMs, but I think that's kind of tacky. Like, why would you buy one of these steering wheels just for it to do that, you know? Like, watch, this is a first gear pull. Yeah, that's not a cop. Definitely doesn't grip on first gear pulls. Hey, check out the crime scene. Oh my god. Yeah, that was a clean little drift though.